Hello and welcome to Queenie's Card of the Month for 2013. Woo! It's August already. We just had the month of the feline where we were paying attention to the details and cleaning up stuff so that we're not dragging heavy things behind the car, or we've released some things because we've paid attention. We've paid attention to the details of our emotions. We've paid attention to the details of our thoughts. We paid attention to the details of our surroundings so that we can get more present in this moment and find the truth of this moment. Which brings us to the card for August, which is Honesty. It's the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle card, Honesty. When you get to this place where you get into the present moment or spend a little bit more time in the present moment, I'm not talking about forgetting your responsibilities and just being all the time and, oh, I'm sorry I was late, I was hugging a tree, I got in this present moment with this tree, and I just couldn't show up. Well, while that would be very honest, wouldn't it? Anyway, the kind of honesty that I'm talking about and the kind of being in the present moment that I'm talking about is to know, or give yourself, maybe to practice being there, is to give yourself a few minutes of time where you check the monkey mind at the door. Give yourself 5 or 10 minutes to just be. Give yourself 5 or 10 minutes where you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to plan anything. You've got 5 or 10 minutes. Most everybody, unless you're on a really, really strict schedule, which would be kind of concerning, is everybody has 5 or 10 minutes to kind of check out of that monkey mind space and be present. And what that does is it assists you in becoming very honest with the truth of this moment. What's the truth of this moment? The truth of my moment right now, the honesty of my moment right now, is that I am making a video for the card of the month because I made a commitment that every month at the first of the month I make a video talking about a card that I pulled. The other honest thing about that moment is, of course, I'm hoping my music isn't too loud. I love Dead Can Dance. And that I make sure that I am concise and clear and that I make a difference. The big thing is that I make a difference. Have I made a difference by speaking to you every month? So with this honesty card, that's my gentle honesty in this moment, right now. It'll change in a minute and a half. Look at his little eyes. What does he look? He looks vulnerable. There is vulnerable in being honest in the moment. There's vulnerability in that, and there's beauty in that, and there's presence in that. You know, most people, myself included, have spent a lot of times in their life trying to contort themselves into weird little pretzel shapes. You know, rebel arms. No, pretzel shapes in order to be loved, in order to survive, in order to be accepted, in order to be chosen, in order to not be left. And this card kind of takes you to this place of gentle honesty where you begin to realize that you don't have to do that anymore. And that the things that you're trying to keep or trying to manipulate into being or trying to work your will on, maybe they're not meant for you after all. Maybe it's okay to allow them to be what they are. And maybe it's, and even more importantly, is maybe it's okay to allow yourself to be what you are and who you are in this moment. So I told you one trick about kind of giving yourself five minutes of time where you're just present. One of the ways that you can do that, I feel like it's important this month for me to express to you, give you a tool to show you what it feels like to be in the present moment, and that it's not this bizarre, unobtainable thing that authors write about all the time. And you know, there are a lot of ways to get there, and that even though you don't think so, you have been present before. In fact, many times before, you have actually been present in your life. Even though you know you've got this brain stuff going on where you're overthinking or Or maybe that's just me. I doubt it. I doubt it. But there are more times when you have actually literally been present with yourself and you just didn't know. One of the ways is, have you ever done something, read a book, and all of a sudden everything else falls away and you're just there with that book? Okay? Or maybe you're creating something. Maybe when you do pottery, or when you're painting, or when you're making jewelry, or when you're singing, or when you're speaking, or when, whatever. Everything just falls away and you have this moment. That's when you're present. You're present. You're not thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow. You're not thinking about what you did yesterday. You're like right there in that moment. The world falls away and it's just you in this pristine moment that's the truth of you. We all experience them. Maybe how I attempt to create that space, and it creates it for me too, is when I'm doing body work on someone, or when have a session with someone, and it is my clear intent that there is no other place that you need to be. You're watching this video. There is no other place that you need to be. There is nothing else that you need to be doing right now. Just receive. Just be present and just receive. Check the mindfuck monkey mind at the door. Yeah, I dropped an F-bomb. Okay. Check that at the door and just be here right now. Yes. Was it Timothy Leary who said, be here now? No, Ram Dass. Yes. Rest in peace, Ram Dass. But you have to know how. And everybody has a slightly different way of figuring out how to be here now, in this moment. And I'll tell you what, doing that for yourself helps you get to the honesty and the truth of the moment. The other thing that helps is not, once you figure out that truth and you want to express your truth, expressing it from your heart. You don't have to, that's not about beating somebody on the head with truth because you're right. It's gently speaking your truth and knowing that you can't control how another person is going to respond to it, and that has to be okay. And that's part of the lesson of this card, and part of the lesson of August, is that we've cleaned up a bunch of stuff. Now we're left in a place where we're kind of vulnerable, but we can see our own truth a little bit clearly, a little bit more clearly. We have more clarity, hopefully. I have a frog. Anyway, we have more clarity, hopefully, and that's a vulnerable place to be, but it's also a place where it's a lot easier to access your present moment, right? So, be present. Find your way to be present. Make a deal with yourself. Give yourself 5-10 minutes every couple days or so, or maybe even every day, to just be right there. You can use nature, go outside and watch the wind blow the leaves on the tree for 5 minutes. Lose yourself in the sky. Lose yourself in the soil. I mean, if you're a bug person, watch all the bugs crawling around in the soil. I personally can only do that sometimes. It's kind of creepy. But I know they're there, okay? Anyway, or go get a massage. Heck, book a session with me. I am all about unwinding the stories that we carry in our bodies, that we carry in our energy systems, and turning them into something so that you can become the hero of your own myth, rather than being drugged down and feeling trapped by the stories that you carry with you. Being able to be empowered and inspired by what you have encountered, what you have been through, where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. If you're interested in a session with me, I have some discounts and specials. You can find me at erinshannon.squarespace.com. And I am so excited for August, even though I was hoping for a ta-da month. This is a gentle unfolding, and it's all good. I love you very much. Have a good month, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.